Hello, hello Aquarius. Welcome to your November 2020 overview reading. This is good for you if you're a sun, moon, or rising Aquarius. And before we get started, take a moment to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Check me out on Instagram at Onyx Healing and sign up for my newsletter. The link is in the description box. You get a reading every single Sunday, so check that out. And without further ado, I am going to lay this spread out. All right, starting with your oracle cards, first thing we have is the heart. So this can be a reference to relationships for many of you, like if you're having a very heart-centered, heart-focused month, or if relationships are something that you're in the process of healing, working on. Regardless, you want to be doing work on your heart in November. Emotional, spiritual, energetic, it's all heart-based, heart-centered. So when in doubt, drop into your heart in the month of November. And look at this as just a strategy to approach life from. You know, you're not going to go wrong if you're coming from your heart, truly. So which is different from emotions, just so we have that clear. The heart and emotions are separate things. So just keep this in mind. It's about tuning into what is true in the heart, right? Not coming from programming of the past or wounds that your parents installed, but really the pure center of the heart. Okay, and then we have wolf, independence, leadership, or independence in the sense that, you know, even though these are pack animals, think about leading yourself. Like, you go first. You need to move ahead fearlessly in the direction that you want to go. Just pursue it with conviction. And let that be what supports you in November. So you have that to look forward to. And then we have ground. Take a breath, find your center, act from your inner knowing, accept Gaia's loving embrace. So whichever one is jumping out at you, whichever statement is resonating most is what you need to hear. I'm not going to overread this. And just keep in mind, this month, I think, is really pushing you to ground yourself, drop into your heart, and focus on your desires, leading yourself with that independent direction, I think is what's coming up. Okay. The central energy for you is the Father of Pentacles, more grounded earth energy. So you can anticipate that there's going to be a level of stability in November that you may not have been receiving before. And then the crossing energy is the High Priestess. So you're going to want to go back and use those spiritual tools again and again. When you're in doubt, go into meditation or anything that gets you into a meditative state. We can all get there in different ways. So there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's just about what works for you. So blending these two things together, the energetic and the practical, the material, is going to be really helpful. But if you're feeling any fogginess, haziness, or having any of those experiences, you need to go back into a meditative state, drop into the heart, and get clear. What you have shifting out is the Hierophant. This was you putting too many restrictions on yourself for whatever reason. It's just looking really, really clear, like the boundaries kind of needed to loosen up in some capacity. So there were too many shoulds going on is what I'm seeing here. You should do this. You shouldn't do that. You should have done blah, blah, blah instead. It's a lot of that coming through. This can either be coming from an external source or just internally. Maybe your internal dialogue sounds like that. And so this is getting dismantled, and it's through this High Priestess that you're able to make that soften. The oncoming energy is the Fool, so new experiences, new beginnings, new opportunities. It's a very fresh vibrant energy. So don't go into the month ahead as, or whatever's happening in November. It's like you can do things a different way, even if you're approaching things that maybe feel familiar or seem like you're kind of on the same loop again and again. See if just by changing the way you're coming at it, if things shift in response. Okay, these 3 cards out here, this is what's outside of you, your environment, what's happening there. We have the 8 of Wands. So this is high speed. I'm gonna pull the other cards first before I read that in depth. We have the Son of Cups. Okay. And the 7 of Wands. Interesting. First thing that's jumping out, I want to be clear, the Son of Cups is looking like a person. With the way that I laid this reading out, people have been very clear when they show up, and so I'm getting either a mentor, teacher, friend, practitioner. The Son of Cups is a reflection of someone who's in your space, in your environment. So think someone who's really emotionally experienced or in tune. Someone who's really emotionally intelligent is a supporter, because this looks like really healthy, supportive energy. So whoever this is, it's like consider them a friend. Okay, not that you necessarily want to put all of your eggs in this basket with whoever this is, right? You need to come back to yourself first. You need to lead yourself first, but rather than looking outside of yourself for too much feedback. Things are moving very quickly. I'm just getting that your environment is arranging for you quite fast. So the 8 of Wands is just an indication of how fast things are feeling for you. Okay, and the 7 of Wands is about you overcoming challenges, right? You're vibrant, you're shining brightly, all of that good stuff. And so let's see what the clarifier is for this combo. We have the 6 of Knives. This is forward movement, a lot of movement. Busy, busy, busy. Not in the overwhelming sense. I'm talking about in terms of growth, in terms of moving in the direction that you want to go, right? The 7 of Wands is really reassuring because it's an indication that whatever you're facing, there's a leap forward. There's a big sign of improvement that's happening here. So this looks very promising to me, especially because it's rapid change. It's rapidly, you know, you being, I don't want to say you're being given a space to shine, but it's kind of like your environment is arranging in a way that makes the 7 of Wands easy. It's very easy for you to embrace what you're good at and embrace whatever it is that feels in alignment with you. That's the word that I'm looking for. So this is a clear alignment. More than anything else, it's like things get easier when you're aligned. When you're misaligned, things feel very, very hard and difficult and strained and challenging. When you're aligned, things are buttery smooth. And so that's what your environment is really setting up for you. And the 6 of Knives is just showing that you're moving forward. So continue to allow yourself to not forecast negative things into the future, right? Because if you're in the habit of doing that, you're going to be extra sensitive to calling them in, picking them out, being hyper vigilant and focused on those things. So you have to be careful with that. Instead, anything that has been turbulent or frustrating or hasn't gone your way in the past, let it stay in the past and trust that things will get smoother as you keep going. Now, in the subconscious or your internal world, as well as some advice for you, we have the Magician. Manifest the experience that you want to have. It's kind of a comment on what I was just saying as far as expect different things. Expect things to not just replicate the past. Don't go in with that expectation. That's going to bite you. Instead, consider yourself, okay, I am creating this experience that I'm having. Take the power back. That's what the magician calls us to do, is to focus rather on the external or what's happening out here. Don't worry about this. This is arranging just fine. This is perfect. It's great. It's wonderful. It's beautiful. You need to put your power back on your intuition, your ability to create. You guys know that I'm very, very heavy on intentional creation. And so this is pulling you back into that rather than fearing forecasting negative things into the future. Call it back to what is the actual ideal that you would like to have unfold, and then use all of your creative tools to make that a reality. And then we also have the 6 of coins. So reciprocation, highly reflective. What you get is what you give. In relationships, in situations, in jobs, right? Whether that be over-investing, under-investing, you know, it can go any which way, but just remember that what the energy is that you're giving, presenting, sharing, putting out there is what you will call in some capacity. Okay, and then I'm going to clarify these. And we have the 10 of Knives. Okay, so anything that needs to be adjusted or needs to be eliminated, cut out, you know, that's all of your free will. It's your choice. If you want to cut out the negative stories, or if you want to cut out the anticipation of worst case scenario, that's your job. Only you can do that. Nobody can do that for you. And then with the 6 of Pentacles, it's kind of like if there's something in your environment that you don't like, or something that's unfolding for you that really isn't in alignment with you, go back to yourself. See if there's any adjustments that you need to make, either in your emotional body, just in your actions, right? Are you just not taking the practical, aligned actions that make sense for you in terms of the direction that you want to go, right? Cutting out distractions, things of that nature. So let yourself do a deep clean, especially during the Mercury retrograde period, which is going to be going on. I don't remember when it goes direct. I think the 14th of November or something. I don't know. Leave a comment if you actually know when that transit goes direct. Okay. Let's do a 3-card pick. Ask a question, ask for guidance, whatever you need. I'll make a mess with the cards. And of course, if you need more time, you can just pause the video, tune in to whichever card is calling to you. That is totally available to you. But let's dive in. Card number 1. We have the Fool. Leap. Take the risk, make the move. You know, it's something that in November, I want to be clear, this is not, if you're watching this in October, this isn't for you right this moment. This is going to apply in November. For some reason, I really need to make that clear. October is not the time to make this move. I don't know why that is so strong. That is coming through so strong right now. You need to hold off until November. Unless there is a time-sensitive issue. But this is showing me that the move needs to be made. And a lot of the time, what I know about the Fool and the experience of this card is if you do not jump by your own choice, by your own free will, if you're ignoring your soul, then a lot of the time things will become more painful so that you jump. And that's how you kind of fall into getting Tower moments or 10 of Swords moments, is because you ignored this. You ignored the opportunity to jump, go for it, leap, take the risk, do the damn thing, regardless of the outcome. If you ignore that and your soul is screaming at you for you to do it, then you will, you know, potentially manifest getting shoved rather than you actively choosing to jump. Okay, card number 2. We have the 4 of Cups. So it's not necessary for you to say yes to every single thing that comes along, or every single opportunity or relationship or potential friend. Not everything needs to be a yes. So be comfortable either holding, like when you're given choices or options, maybe hold off. Check in with yourself, come back to your center, ground yourself, and then revisit the question or the opportunity or the relationship or whatever. But I'm getting that you want to be a little bit more selective and choosy. Let yourself be choosy and hold your standards high. Don't sacrifice your standards. That's really clear as well. Because the main thing is, if you're presented something that is not a good fit, it's important that you say no. Your no's are just as important as your yeses. And then card number 3, we have the Tower. So something has to move or release or come undone. Something here wasn't working, so it is either already deteriorating and you know what it is and you're very clear on, oh yeah, I know what you're saying. Or this is something that it's in progress somehow. I have a strong, my read on this is really strong that you already know this, even if it's putting a bad taste in your mouth in this moment. If you're like, I really don't want to be getting the Tower for this reading, you know. And I don't know if you listened to the Fool, if you just fast forwarded through the video, but let me just say the same thing that I said about the Fool. When your soul is screaming at you for you to make a move or jump or change things up or leap or whatever, and you ignore it, this is what you get. So I am under the impression that for many, many, many of you, you have been ignoring the soul's cry out to jump, leap, change, whatever it is that you're doing, or get out of this situation, or let it go, or move on, or whatever the Tower is for you. And so this is what happens. When you ignore the soul nudging you, this is the next step. Because it's kind of like, if you don't do it of your own accord, then you're going to manifest things that push you and force you to have the breakdown so that you can expand and grow. So know that this is in service of you stepping into the highest expression of yourself, as we're constantly surrounded with opportunities to do so. So just because it looks messy doesn't mean that it's not supporting you in some capacity. Thank you so much for joining me today, everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure. Make sure you watch your sun, moon, and rising for a full picture of the month ahead. Don't forget to subscribe, sign up for my newsletter. I have more good things coming, so stay up to date with me. Check me out on Instagram at Onyx Healing. I am sending you so much love and support. If you would like to work with me or learn more, go to onyxhealing.com, and I will see you next time. Have a good one. Bye-bye.